Welcome back to another deep dive with the Explainer. Today we're setting out on a journey to totally demystify the digital bedrock of our modern lives. Whether you're a complete tech novice or already highly informed, we're going to break down the anatomy of our digital world. We'll be looking at everything from foundational system architectures right up to their massive global applications. So get ready, because we're about to uncover exactly how the invisible foundations of our daily lives actually work.
Okay, here's our roadmap for demystifying the digital world today. Section 1 covers the ICT umbrella. Section 2 breaks down hardware versus software. Section 3 walks through the 5 generations of computing. And finally, Section 4 looks at real-world impact.
Now, I want you to pause for just a second. Seriously, think about the smartphone sitting right there in your pocket, or the television in your living room, or even just the checkout scanner at your local grocery store. You interact with these invisible technological foundations literally all the time. But what is the invisible glue holding all these wildly different devices together?
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the ICT umbrella, and define our core tech.
So you'll hear the term ICT thrown around a lot these days. It stands for Information and Communication Technology. Formally defined, it's a set of computing tools that collectively allow people and organizations to interact in the digital world. Think of it as the ultimate merger. It basically collapses traditional telecom and modern networking into a single giant nervous system for the entire globe.
And let me tell you, this umbrella is massive. We're not just talking about your laptop here. It covers a vast array of diverse technologies. Sure, it includes traditional communication devices, televisions, and cell phones, but it also scales way up to heavy computer and network hardware, those multi-million-dollar satellite systems orbiting our planet right now, and even the distance learning services connecting students and teachers across the globe. All of this, the whole shebang, lives under the single ICT umbrella.
Moving right along to Section 2, hardware versus software, the two core parts of the system.
To make this incredibly clear, I want you to think of a computer almost like a living entity. Hardware is the physical, tangible body, the stuff you can actually touch. Software, on the other hand, is the intangible mind, the thoughts. And just like a real body and mind, one is utterly useless without the other. Take a look at this. On one side, we have the system unit. This is the heavy lifting core that houses the motherboard and the CPU brain. On the other side are your peripherals. These are the crucial interfaces, your monitors, keyboards, printers, that actually allow us humans to communicate with that brain. But what about the thoughts of the machine? Well, think of software as a hierarchy. You've got system software, like Windows or Android, which manages the raw metal of the hardware. Then there's application software, like Word or your web browser, which does the actual work for you. And right in between is driver software, which acts as a highly specialized translator, making sure everything talks to each other correctly.
Now let's jump into Section 3, the 5 generations, to see our computing history.
We generally organize this history into 5 distinct generations. Now, as a quick side note, humans have actually been using devices for calculation for thousands of years. In fact, Charles Babbage is often called the father of the computer for designing the very first mechanical computer way back in 1822. But the electronic era, that exploded rapidly. Just look at this timeline. From the 1940s straight through to the present day, the jumps in technological capability are absolutely staggering. Let's start right at the beginning. First-generation computers, spanning 1940 to 1955, utilized vacuum tubes for their circuitry. These first-generation behemoths, like the famous ENIAC, required dangerously high voltage. And get this, they produced immense heat. They were practically expensive room-sized ovens, all just to do basic calculations.
Contrast that room-sized oven with the 5th-generation device you're likely watching this very explainer on right now. It's sleek, it's highly capable, and it's completely defined by the incredible integration of artificial intelligence. So the crucial question here is, how on earth did we get from room-sized to pocket-sized so fast? Well, notice the profound trend of miniaturization here. Those heavy vacuum tubes yielded to smaller transistors. Then transistors were packed into single integrated circuits, which massively lowered costs. That paved the way for the microprocessors of the 70s, which finally brought computing out of the lab and right into the home. And today, the 5th generation gives us the AI-driven capabilities we see all around us. Every single step fundamentally shrunk the hardware while vastly expanding the software's mind.
Which brings us to Section 4, Real-World Impact and ICT Applications.
Take a look at the massive revolution happening in the manufacturing industry right now. ICT devices didn't just improve factories, they completely redefined them. We now rely heavily on automated robotics for tasks that used to take hours and hours of manual human labor. I mean, we have robotic arms that perfectly weld car parts, paint vehicles, pack goods into boxes, and even manufacture the very microchips that power them. This isn't just about replacing human muscle. It's about achieving a level of precision and unbroken 24/7 productivity that has totally revolutionized global supply chains.
And it goes well beyond the factory floor, too. In the business world, ICT is pretty much the ultimate competitive multiplier. It gives leaders far sharper decision-making through data, unlocks massive employee productivity, and drastically reduces operating costs. Honestly, if a business isn't leveraging this ecosystem today, they are inherently falling behind.
But let's ground this explainer for a second and look at the reality of these tools. Just like any powerful technology, ICT comes with trade-offs. On the positive side, it's remarkably eco-friendly because it eliminates huge amounts of paper waste. It bridges vast cultural divides by allowing global communication and deeply enhances learning through web-based platforms. However, that exact same connectivity introduces massive modern vulnerabilities. We face the constant, everyday risk of cyber attacks and hacks. It also provides a pretty frictionless channel for the rapid spread of misleading or false information. The sword definitely cuts both ways.
Which leaves us right here. We've charted the leap from massive heat-generating vacuum tubes all the way to sleek, AI-powered devices holding the entirety of human knowledge. We understand the physical hardware body and the instructional software mind. But looking at this incredibly rapid pace of change, I'll leave you with this final thought. If artificial intelligence defines our current 5th generation, what unimaginable technology is going to define the 6th? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.